So we can wait for 2 or 3 minutes, then we can start when all are joining. So today, firstly, we will complete this current operation DTO only here. I think this left controller, and after that, we will revise all the questions that we can discuss here. We can start a new thing. Firstly, we will revise all the questions that we can discuss here with full definitions. So, if anyone have any question, you can message here. Okay, we can start. In the last class, firstly, we can recall what we can do. In the last class, all the thing will be same, but only new thing we are using here automapper, and we are using async and await here in the interface and services. So we are using async task, we, and in the service we can use async and await. This is async and this is await for in asynchronous and everywhere we can use a to list a sync, to find a sync, save changes sync. So next our last thing will be our controller. So here firstly what we can do, we can implement dependency injection, that is the last principle of solid. So this is very most important .NET interview question. What is a dependency injection? So dependency injection means rather than writing all the code here, same controller we can call from the outside, like uh, like directly write here application DB context we can call from outside. You have a one option, you can directly inject your DB context here and all the data related work for saving in the database that we can do here. You can do the You can see here we can inject the DB context. So if you don't want to implement a dependency injection, you can write this all the code here directly here. Don't need to use a product service or interface, but that time we can't follow a dependency injection. So that is the exact meaning of dependency injection. Means rather than writing all the code in same controller, we can call from the outside. If we extend any code here, we can easily, for example, why we use a dependency injection, to achieve a loose coupling. Loose coupling means if you want to extend this method, you can easily extend, and here you can declare the method, here you can give the definition and easily use it the controller. But that time you can do whole things in same controllers, that is a little bit difficult to manage, and there you will implement a tight coupling and not follow a solid principle, because now all are comes from the separate files. In the separate file, we class or interface, we can make an interface here. Here we can do all the implementation, and here we can inject the constructor. So this is the best example of dependency injection, and you can easily give this example in your any .NET interview, like how, if they say how you can implement dependency injection in your project. So dependency injection means, it's a simple definition. Rather than writing all the code in the controller, we can write in the service. We can write in the service, and we can call the at service in the controller by using dependency injection. So how we can inject this? With the help of interface. So here we can just call these method, and with the help of this we can also achieve a abstraction. So this is the four pillar of oops abstraction, and it's also very important question. You can, if you have a good understanding, so you can easily give the answer how you can implement the abstraction in your project. So we can implement here abstraction with the help of interface. Abstraction means we can hide the implementation detail and showing only the functionality to the user. You can see here we can only show to a user only these methods, and all the implementation will be hide. So that is the best example of abstraction. We can achieve abstraction here by using the interface, and we can implement that interface in service class. So you can see here we can give the all the implementation of service here. So here most important question, what are the four pillar of hoops? I can open here. So today we will recall all the questions, and if you want to clone this project, you need to share this video in your any social media platform, and you can send mail. You can send me mail that. Then after that, I will give you this project clone. You can send me mail in this mm, in this Gmail, or I think also I give in the description. You can check from there. After that, we'll give you clone or these notes. Okay. Our next question will be, so in the last I think today's ours sixth class. In the last five class, we can cover almost 20, 80, 19 question. Next one is, what are the four pillar of oops? So it's a trick how to learn this a pie. A pie. A means abstraction, polymorphism, inheritance, or next one is encapsulation. So abstraction we already covered. Inheritance already we are using here single inheritance. We can inherit it here iProduct service and all the feature we are using here. And here we also implement encapsulation. I think only polymorphism we are not used here. Only this one left. These all we are used here. So encapsulation, how we can implement encapsulation means wrapping data and method together in a single unit. So same thing we are doing here. All the method or data related work we can do here. So here encapsulation means, sorry, can hide the data show auntie. Means wrapping the data and method together in a single unit and restricting to access the data outside the classes. So here what we can do, we can privately inject here. So privately means it's a access specifier, private access specifier. Modifier means you can access this variable or method only within the class. You can't access outside the class. Next one is we can use a public specifier here. So it means you can easily access inside the class or outside the class. Means you can access the variable method from anywhere in your application. So this is also important question in a .NET interview because you can see we can multiple time use public and private. So also have a protected. Protected can be used same class or the inherited class. So these are the important questions. Okay, I already added here as a specifier, I think. Yeah, this one. Mm, Not possible in Hindi because some candidate are from a different country, so they don't understand Hindi. So that's why we are talking here in English. So you all comment after this class, like which language you want class in Hindi or English. So you can vote here. So after that, I will check like how much interested in Hindi or English language. Then I will decide to move in Hindi or English. Okay, okay, I will try to speak for you today in Hindi. Okay, okay. What's your name? Hmm. So here ओके, आई विल ट्राई टू स्पीक इन हिंदी। तो यहाँ पे हमने यूज़ किया है दीज ये सारे क्वेश्चंस हमने कंप्लीट किए हैं। व्हाट इज़ द एंटी फ्रेमवर्क और इसका यूज़ क्यों करते हैं हम, और ऐप सेटिंग का यूज़ क्यों करते हैं, डीवी कॉन्टेक्स्ट डीवी सेट का यूज़ क्यों करते हैं, वाई वी यूज यूजिंग कीवर्ड। ये सारे डॉट नेट के मोस्ट इम्पॉर्टेंट क्वेश्चंस हैं जो हमने यहाँ पे डिस्कस किए हैं। और हमने यहाँ पे डीटीओस का यूज़ किया है, और we can follow solid principle को follow किया है। and our last step will be we can add the controller. Okay, so anyone have question, please message here. I will come back in 2 minutes. Okay, we can start. Firstly, हम method बनाएंगे. We are using a http get. So they are also important question. What are the http methods? So method. So we are using get from here in the controller. Get get method is used to get the data from the database. Any record when you are getting from the database, that time we are using HTTP get. This one like that way, like this attribute we can add. Next one is post. Post is used when we want to add any data in the database. Next one is put. Put is used when you want to update anything in the database. And last one is a delete. Delete method is used when you want to delete anything in the database. So you have to knowledge about this. And next one is a what is a status code. What is a status code means if you get a response, valid response, that time you can get a status code to 200. 200 okay means the request is successfully and response is returned successfully. Next one is a 201. Created means the request is successfully created. For example, this you can use when you can create a new user or new product, and it will gives like this resource will be created successfully. And next for the 400 bad request, for example, you can get by ID and you don't pass any ID, that time it will give the bad request. Means your request will be invalid and server can process your request. And next one is 404 means you are finding record 1 and that record not found in the database. So these all the status code that we are commonly use. 500 means internal error. For example, now we are implementing dependency injection and you are not inject that dependency injection in the program.cs file. That time it will be give error. Internal server error means it will not able to access your controller. That time you can get this error. I think these are enough that we are using here. So these one five status code and these four method we are using. So I will again revise here. 200 means when a new request is created. 201 means created a new record. 400 means bad request. You are not sending the valid request, like they want a, for example, here it want a id and you don't pass any id, or you can pass a zero invalid id, or here in the request body you can't pass nothing and directly hit the method. That time you can get the 400 error bad request. 404 means that record not found in the database, and 500 means you are not dependent implement the dependency injection or anything, you are not able to hit this method. That time you can get a internal server error, means there is any error on the server, the request cannot be processed. Okay, so you also have to idea if you're working here, so you have to idea how it will be work. So anyone have any question, you can message here. Here we can do we can cover only .NET Core, not for Spring Boot. Our first method will be get all. We can get all the record from here. Yeah. So we need to put inside the commas. So here what we can do, we can write a clean approach rather than writing all the code here. That is a little bit long code in same controller. We can call from outside, and here we can write code in cleanable way, maintainable way, loosely coupled, not dependent to each other, all are working independently. This interface work independently and service independently. So that's why we can implement here loose coupling. Loose coupling. Loose coupling means component of the application are independent to each other, and they can be changed without affecting the other components. So this is a loose coupling. And in solid principle, we can achieve loose coupling. So these are the multiple points you can easily give in your interview. And we can achieve a loose coupling by using interface and dependency injection. So like that way, you can give a definition from anywhere, solid principle, these all. But when you don't have any practical knowledge, you are not able to answer if they ask you any cross question. So firstly, try to understand these things, and after that, you can learn any definition that is for your understanding. But you also have to know some practical knowledge how, for example, you can anyone ask you HTTP related question and you don't have idea where we can implement the HTTP method. So we can implement this in the controller. Next one is this is for the get all product from the database. Next we will make for the get by ID. Here we can pass the ID in the query parameter. So you can see here here firstly I will also add here status code, then you have a better understanding. 200 means the request is successfully. So and here what it will do, 400 we can get if that product not found in the database, and 200 means request is successfully created and you can get the response. Next one is we can make for HTTP add. Okay. So here, but it will, uh, it firstly, it will add the new record. All the implementation we can do here to adding new record. And if that record will be added, that time we can call this method because new ID will be created and we can pass that ID to this method and create created at action. We can give this response type status code T01 created with the request successfully and new response is created successfully. And if here we want to add this one 404 bad request, so also we can add here if product is equal to null, that time you can give the bad request. 400 bad request means request is invalid. So these all we can get. So already we can cover all these status code. We already use only this one left, and I also show you how where we can get 500 status code. Next one is HTTP update. Same thing here. We can get update that record. If product is equal to null, then return not found, and otherwise return okay. So here how we can do, we can find that record with the help of ID, and if that record not found in the database, that time we can give this error not found, otherwise we can update and return 200 and return okay. Next thing will be we can make method for the delete. So here what we can do, we can pass the ID because go to definition. If you go to definition, this is our definitions. We need to pass the ID. And if you go to implementation, so here our implementation we can do. So here also we can follow a command and query architecture. So here we can give the command and our query will be right here for finding data in the database to updating data, so all the thing we can write here. So this is sometime also important question, so you have to idea what is a command and query. We can separate the read and write operations in the application. So here we can give the command and our query will be right here, and we just pass the parameter that we want, that we used here id request for the id. So here we can created all the method here. So now I can save and run this application. Okay, it will give some error. Not the error. Okay, we are injected register our DV context here, and app setting also we add the migration. Okay, okay, so this operator. So you can see here, firstly we will get one error. So you can see here, we can get this error 500. So this is means your invalid operation, unable to resolve. It's not able to hit the method. So that time we can get the 500. So why we get this 500? Because we can use a dependency injection in the controller, but we can't inject that dependency injection in our program.cs file. So here there are three types of dependency injection. First one is add scope, add singleton, or add transist. So here in the program.cs file for the interface services, we can use the scope because it will create a new instance or new object per HTTP request. So we need to register here. Here we will use add scope dependency injection. It will create new instance or object per HTTP request. So how we can write here builder dot services dot add scope builder dot services dot add scope. So this is a pre-built dependency injection in .NET Core. So here we will give our interface I product service comma product service. Okay, firstly, you have to understand the flow of .NET Core. This is just added. I will add here breakpoint and see which error we are getting here. So this is the first file that will be run when we can run the dependency injection. So firstly hit here. If we don't add it here DB context, same 500 error, any error it will be give. After that it will hit the add controller. So before hitting the add controller, we can add the service. And for example, we are not injecting the DB context. So before hitting this method, I can also add here breakpoint. So it will not hit the method, it will directly error from there, like your dependency injection will not inject it. Let me add here also breakpoint so you have a better understanding. Okay. So here same 500 error will be get. So you can check how the it will hit the method or not. So you understand the flow how it will be work. So you can see here directly we can get here and go down. This is first time it will create the build. This is the build. Okay. And when I added here anything, for example, try it out and execute, so it directly give the error rather than hitting this add method. You can see here Here I already added the breakpoint. It can't hit the method. It will directly throw the error because it read from the program.cs file. Here you don't inject the dependency injection. So for now we can inject the dependency injection and we can put this the add scope. Same like that. There is a add transist. It means it will create a instance or object in every request. What is add? For example, it will be used, you can make a I email service or interface. That time we need to make the object because every time you can send the email for the new user. So that time we can use the add transist, and add singleton is only used when you can make an instance for the entire application only one time. For example, you can for using a global exception handling, that time we can use a add scope. It it will create new instance or object every HTTP request. Example, I you can give this an example in your interview. Service, email service. Next one is add singleton. Add singleton. It will create only one instance or object for the whole application. For the whole application. It's an example for global exception handling. You can use a convention middleware. Okay, so here we are using only this one scope. So let me check now. Okay, we need to restart firstly. Here we that's why we are not use a singleton because it will create only one time object or one instance. Here we need to create an instance per HTTP request because every request will be a different. So it will check here. So it will what it will be right now card initiative. Okay, here we will do a wrong thing. Here also same thing we can write here. We need to remove interface. Here we can inject our interface and service. So both side I will keep the interface. And I can restart here. So this is a important question in a what is a dependency injection and its types. So here I will give you most important question that you can definitely complete if you are giving any .NET interview. First one is a solid principle, and this is I will add here important. You can take a screenshot here and mm, next one is this one EF core also important. Next one is I will add a full dependency injection. It is solid principle. So this is the most important question in every interview. You will not go without this. Like if you are a fresher, they will expecting you so you can give the answer in simple definition. But if you are experienced or already have a 2 or 3 experience, so that time they will expecting you how you can implement dependency solid principle in your projects. So this is the most important and most asked .NET interview question. Important, and this is also important, but this is the most important, and this is also the most important question. So you, firstly, if I can give you advice, you can firstly prepare these two questions. This is the most important. And four pillar of hoops, program.cs file, um, interface, abstraction, encapsulation. Okay, firstly, yeah, you can start from these two questions. This is the most important that we can cover here. Others also important, but not like this too much. It should be method specified. Okay, and this is also important question. Okay, so here we can start the application. We can get the breakpoint and we can run this. So now we can get the hit in our controller because we added successfully our dependency injection. Try it out. We can give the username ABC, and we also do mapping. Let me check. Yeah, we are doing all the mapping. So here data goes to require domain model to a DTO, DTO to model. So here all the mapping we can complete it here. So first one is this is the request body, and for example in this time our data goes from the this is the request and this is the response. This is our original table in the database, so we can get data from product request add it you and we can save in our product table. That is the actual table in the database. So we are using this mapping. So here I will give name pencil, any name you can give. You can see here I added breakpoint here. So it already get that record, added record, because all the implementation will be do here and I can added breakpoint below. If I added here, then it will we can check all the implementation. So for now it will created the new record and created ID1, and it will check that record not null. So after that what it will do, it will hit this method get by id and they get that record and give to a why it will be giving like the retro action. Let me check new record is added or not. Why it will be created new record. 400 gateway. Right. Okay, it will create a new record for same response. Okay, we don't use this. We can simply use, because here we can use the DTO, I think. Return, okay. Let me check again. So again, we can try to add a new user and added here breakpoint, no, remove from here, and also add breakpoint implementation here. So you can see here, first I will execute this, then you can explain. In the request body, we can get these four details, and after that, we can in the service here we can add a new record and add it in memory. After save changes, it will be showing in the database and return this response. Now come in the here this record not null and it will be returned okay, and this record will be showing here description. So for now you can see here same name two method will be created. So to handling this scenario we can make a you can make do indexing or you can make this name is unique. So if you added these things, so these all handled by AF core. So you need to add all the things in your application DB context if you want to name unique or required. For example, you can see here pencil and both name will be same and description. So you want to make this unique. So that time we need to use is unique keyword. We can write inside the model builder. Will explain you later. And if you want to require, like if any user not give the description, that if you set description required, so it will give the error. And another also if you want to our relationships, so that also important question, what is the relationships in the AF core? So there are the three types of relationships in the AF core. This is the also important most important question. .NET core, first one is one to one relationship. Second one is one to many relationships, and third one is many to many relationships. Okay, in a for one-to-one relationship, for example, one user have only one address. If you can delete the address, so that if you can delete the user, then address table will be deleted. For example, this is the user table and here is the address table. In the address table, you can save a user ID. So that is called a one-to-one relationship. Second one is a one-to-many relationship. For example, uh, one user can do a multiple orders. So only one user and one user table have a multiple orders. So this is the one to many relationship order. So here same like that way. We need to navigate add the navigation of order table here, and in the order table we can save the ID of here. Next one is many to many relationship. For example, one product have multiple category and Multiple categories have multiple products, not a one. Multiple, multiple. So this is the most important question also. We'll cover later, but you have to idea little bit. Okay. So for now, we are completing total 21 questions. So get by ID also working. So we will check get by ID. We can pass the ID one here. So we get the ID and same thing we already cover these things. All the things will be same. In the response, we are getting this record. Next one is put update by ID. So here we can passing the ID one and so here I will give the name pencil one. This is the description and you can see here same like that way. This pod will be updated. Okay, this one will be updated. Now check in the get all method. So this record will be updated. Next one is for the delete. Same thing we can pass the ID here in the query parameter. So you can see here when I can add it here. Try it out. One ID and it will be deleted that record. 204. That record will be deleted here. So here we can write 204. It will be we get when we are deleted new record. So we already use these all the status code. For example, when we can get a bad request. For example, you are hitting this method, but it will give you here same exact in the request body. Let me check. Okay. Okay. Because here we don't add any. Try it out. Let me check here. For example, you are not giving any value empty here. So where is the code? The here one, you can't get nothing in the database. So okay, we are not added the validation message. So how it will create an empty code? So handling these things, you can see here empty code will be added. We need to add there in our service if we can get request for if because here you can do a exception handling try catch you can use here. That time return will be null, or you can add here. This is the or sign. Like that way you can add here. You need to add here validation message, because you can see here we are able to add collage. So these all things will be handled here. For now, we are not using any try catch. In the next class, we will try to use these things. So we can't save any wrong data in our database. Okay, wait for 1 minute. Okay, this we will cover in the next class. For now, we can do same. Next, we will check. Already, we are checked all the things. Get all in the get all method. ID1 will be deleted here. So you can see here ID1 is deleted, and it will create an empty record. So we need to use here exception, like if request body we can get a null or empty, that time you will return a null, not created a new record. To handling this, you can add in your app.db context, make a name is required. So if you are not added name, that will it will give the error. Or also you can use a try catch, like how we can this is the also important question. What is the exception handling method? How we can handle the exception? How we can, or you can add it a, not a exception. You can directly add here checks, same like that way in the DB context. All the scenario you are facing here. Okay, middleware is used to handle the HTTP request pipeline. It will be a work as a barrier between your request and response. Will cover that is, for example, you can see here in the .NET Core we have a pre-built middlewares. This is the middleware. App.use authentication, app.use HTTP request. These are the pre-built middleware. Build middleware. Okay, this is done for today class. If you like this video, this class, please like, share, and comment. And next class will be tomorrow, same timing. And you can vote here which language you can want this course. So I will check all the comments and will do accordingly. Okay, thank you. And if you want a clone of this project, you need to share any your social media platform. After that, I will send you clone of this project with notes. Already I added notes here. Changes. Okay. Okay, thank you. Thank you so much for attending the class.